Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of AVX Live. I am your host. I am your captain today. I am Ryan Finch, Creative Technology Director here at Corporate Audiovisual Services. Once again, I have been absolutely abandoned by my fearless leader, Joe Gilderson. He is off enjoying, I hope, some sunshine and some beach weather. And hopefully he comes back soon because things are just falling apart without him here. I'm just kidding. Everything's great. So anyways, the last couple of weeks, we had some great conversations, one of which being with a friend of the program, friend of the company, Rose Caparatuno, speaking about the Westchester's Women's Summit, which happened last week. It was a great success, well attended. We have some photos. Here's Rose up on the stage. Lots of press there, lots of great conversations. So seemed like a really great event. We're happy to be a part of it once again. And congrats to Rose for pulling it all together. So before we get right into this week's guest, I do have to go over a few of my lines here. And I have to multitask, which I give Joe a lot of flack for, but it is a lot of things all at once. So I'm going to try not to miss anything. Here we go. You can find us on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube Live. You can do that every Wednesday at 1 p.m. And while you're there, you should drop us a comment. You should be part of the show. Ask us questions. We will answer it live. We might as well. We're doing it live. And of course, you should hit that subscribe button. Comment, like, share, subscribe, all the above. Super helpful, much appreciated. And if you missed the show, don't forget you can find it on YouTube in a little video discography, Joe's favorite words. And you can also check us out on Instagram and Facebook for some quick tips or some shark bites, our friend Andrew Castellano would say. And I think that's it. I think that's all of my lines here. So without further ado, we are going to get to this week's guest, which is a friend of the company, a longtime client. That is Gwen Salmo, Special Events Coordinator at Friends of Karen. Gwen has been with Friends of Karen since 1995. With a demonstrated history working in the nonprofit organization management industry. Friends of Karen, there it is. Friends of Karen provides emotional, financial, and advocacy support for children with life-threatening illnesses and their families in order to keep them safe, stable, functioning, and able to cope. Gwen is skilled in nonprofit organizations, event planning, fundraising, community outreach, and public relations. She's a strong operations professional with a bachelor's degree focused on journalism from San Diego State University, California State University, and a 2017 graduate of Leadership Westchester. Gwen is also the president of Chi Omega, Westchester Alumni Association, as well as a member of Rye Tri Club. So with that, please welcome Gwen Salmo.
Hello.
Hey there.
Good afternoon, Ryan. It's so nice to be with you today.
It is great to have you here. How are you doing today, Gwen?
I'm doing great. The sun's shining, and it's all good.
It's all good. Hey, you got some.
You, my friend.
There you go. Well, we're happy to have you here, and I got to say, you got some interesting wallpaper behind you.
Thank you.
Is there any history to it?
Yes, it was put on the walls of my 100-year-old home 100 years ago. So
wow,
it's an antique.
100 years. That's a good long run for a house. Yeah. But yeah, very interesting. And then did anybody ever come and take photos of wallpaper like that?
Yeah, they did.
I thought that was a good story. I thought you might want to plug it.
That's a good story. But yes, they did.
Well, very interesting. So Gwen, why don't we start off? Why don't you tell us how you got started with Friends of Karen?
Sure, I'd love to. When I moved to Westchester almost 34 years ago from California, as you all heard, I grew up there. I wanted to meet people, so I joined the Westchester Chi Omega Alumni Association since I was a Chi Omega in college. At the first social event at a fellow Chi Omega sister's home, I came across Friends of Karen brochures all over the table. And I couldn't help but want to get involved when I saw the faces of these children on all of the brochures sitting in front of me. I had learned that the Westchester Chi Omega Alumni Association was collecting cereal, crackers, and cookies for their food pantry. And I thought, you know what? I think that's all wonderful, but I thought that we should raise money for this organization. So in 1993, when I joined the Westchester Chi Omega Alumni Association, I started having tag sales at my home. And in 1995, I was hired by Friends of Karen as their special events coordinator. And this year in 2023, in September, the Westchester Chi Omega Alumni Association will host our 30th annual tag for Friends of Karen.
30 years.
30 years of hosting this tag sale, and it really brings the community together. It brings all of my Chi Omega sisters together. It brings my neighbors together because they all want to give me their stuff to sell, and it's a really wonderful event.
All right. Well, that's great. It's interesting how, joining an association or a group like that can kind of connect all the dots for you. And you do a fair amount of networking, right? Would you say that networking has been a value to you in your career?
Definitely has been a value. In fact, that's one of my goals this year, is to get out more and network because of what everybody has gone through for the last almost 3 years. So yeah, I'll be out there networking. Tonight I'll be out there at the Silver Chamber of Commerce networking event. So yes, it's all good, meeting people and talking about Friends of Karen, which I love doing.
Okay, well that's probably one of the many hats that you wear, right? What other hats do you wear at Friends of Karen?
So I am the special events coordinator, as you know. So I help put together lots of events. We have our annual bike tour, which you'll hear more about. We have a walk in Rockland County, a 5K walk. That's a wonderful event at Rockland Lake State Park. We have an Italian dinner party at Mama Rosa Ristorante in Somers, and we have our annual gala, which will be celebrated in New York City on November 3rd, and it will be celebrating Friends of Karen's 45th anniversary. So it's going to be a very important event. And that's
45th anniversary.
Trust at Friends of Karen is helping to organize the events, get people to come to the events, get sponsors to sponsor the events.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. Lots of little things go into putting on a big event like that. I know something about that event. I know a little bit about it over the years. You and I think that's probably the first time we got to work together was on one of those galas. But that's great. Look, events, another way to bring everyone to connect all the dots, right? And that's a way. Who knows? There are people who are, I'm sure, who you've gotten in touch with, Friends of Karen folks that have come to your events, and maybe they've had some impact over the years, right?
Oh, definitely. People that have come that we meet for the first time, once they hear the stories from the Friends of Karen families, they want to come back. They come and volunteer up at Friends of Karen at our office in North Salem or in Melville, New York, or in New York City. So people that learn about our mission, which you talked about at the beginning of the program, how could you not want to help, right?
Absolutely.
All local children who are, not in a good place. So we're there to help not just the sick child, but the entire family and the parents, the brother and the sisters. And that's what we're about, helping these families so that they can cope while their child is critically ill.
Well, I mean, look, yeah, I think the caregivers of sick children often go overlooked, right? It's easy to want to help everywhere you can, but it's nice that Friends of Karen is able to create a more wholesome approach to providing care. So speaking of, Gwen, I would love to learn a little bit more for the folks here listening about what Friends of Karen does. Like how many people, right, do you touch on a regular basis? Help us understand the deeper details of the work that Friends of Karen is doing.
Yes, we have. I have lots of good notable numbers that we call
notable numbers. All right.
Notable numbers that are in our 2022 annual report and in every annual report that we do every year. One of the numbers, which I think is very big, Friends of Karen, our service area includes 22 counties, which are Westchester, Putnam, Rockland, Dutchess, Sullivan, Warren, Orange counties, all of New York City's 5 boroughs, all of Long Island, Fairfield County, Connecticut, and Northern New Jersey. In 2022, Friends of Karen touched the lives of 1,289 children, which includes all of the siblings of the critically ill child. The average number of families that we helped each month in 2022 was 318 families.
Wow. 318 families was that each month?
That's the average amount of families that we helped each month.
Wow.
In 2022, we have programs like our Holiday Adopt a Family program, our Thanksgiving program, our Back to School program, our Easter Passover program. And in 2022, Friends of Karen fulfilled the wish list of 824 children.
Wow.
We sent birthday gifts to, sorry, I'm looking down, but I want to make sure the numbers are correct. 57 children, and back to school supplies, which included gift cards so families can buy an outfit for their children. That we sent to 710 children, and we sent 165 families supermarket gift cards for Thanksgiving. And right now we're working on collecting donations for our Easter Passover program. So we always need help. We always need donations to help put the food on the table for our families.
Oh, absolutely. And when you're helping 318 families on average per month, I would imagine those donations become pretty critical, huh?
Yes, they're very critical. And last year we spent on average, this is a big number, $102,000 each month on direct support, which helps pay for, remember Friends of Karen helps with financial, emotional, and advocacy support. So we help pay for rent and mortgages. What happens is one of the parents usually has to stop working when their child is critically ill. So when you have only one income, some of our families need help with rent and mortgages, with transportation to and from the hospital, help to pay for prescription and medical co-pays, helps pay for sibling support, and if the need arises, for bereavement support. So that's why if you're helping so many families, it's a lot of money each month that we have to help for direct family support.
Oh, absolutely. And you mentioned these programs, back to school, the holiday gifts, birthday gifts, things like that. Are these programs fairly consistent, or are there new initiatives that kind of come up each year? How does Friends of Karen approach that?
Those programs have been around for many years. The birthday program, the back to school, the Holiday Adopt a Family, Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving, we used to send meals to our families, but when 2020 hit, we couldn't send the meals because the companies that generally help us weren't working in the companies. So we pivoted in quite a way, and the companies asked their employees to make donations. And in turn, we were able to send out gift cards, supermarket gift cards, or a food check. to these families.
Well, that's great. And, I'm sure that each of them are special to you, but are there any programs or any cases or anything in particular that stands out as being something that is really meaningful or memorable to you in your extensive career there? Does anything stand out to you as far as the work that you've done?
One thing that really stands out, when we send out these gifts for our gift programs and we get notes, thank you notes from our families or an email. We just were sent actually a video yesterday. The staff was sent a video from one of our families. And one of the children was wearing they were actually two little girls were wearing something that we sent them for the holiday.
Oh.
It just melts your heart.
Oh, absolutely. How could it not, right?
That's what always stands out is the thank yous, the appreciation that we get from the families that we help. I mean, you've been at our events and you've heard our families speak. So how could you not want to continue helping when you hear the impact that Friends of Karen makes on these families? It's incredible. It's truly.
Oh, absolutely. It is. It's heartwarming, and I'm sure it makes the long hours and the long years make it worth it. And I'm sure it's very rewarding. Again, I have seen it firsthand and how passionately they speak. So, I believe it. I believe what you're saying. I just to transition a little bit into one of the common themes that comes up on this show is technology, which should come as no surprise. Talking to a company that does technology for as a business, and we're doing technology right now, right? We're using new tools to help get messages out and have conversations. But for you and your role, how is technology come into play? Or for the work that Friends of Karen does, what's the role that technology plays there?
Yeah, I was when I looked at your questions last night, I was thinking about that, about technology, and I wanted to let everyone know more on a whole about Friends of Karen with our technology. Sure. And it does play a very big role, from the database that we currently use to keep track of all of our wonderful donors, to the platform that we use for our peer-to-peer fundraisers, like our bike tour and the Long Island Marathon. That's a really amazing platform that is easy to use. We're always looking for, something that's not complicated, especially when we're sending the peer-to-peer fundraisers that we use and the technology that we use. We want the donors to, easily make a donation. Right. So we thought about that when we hired. It's called the Classy is the program that we use for our peer-to-peer fundraisers. And during the pandemic, we really relied on technology when it came to our annual gala every year. Ryan knows all too well. We hired corporate AV and we totally pivoted from an in-person event to a virtual event. And here we are with our amazing John Berman, our MC, who has been with us for many years, and Pat Tully, our auctioneer.
Yes.
And me and my development team at Friends of Karen were like, oh my God, how are we going to do this? How are we going to, first of all, put it together with the technology, which I'm not very good at technology. And then how are we going to get our donors to adapt to this kind of event? Because they're always used to coming in person and, hobnobbing with their friends and having a drink and
very different.
And corporate AV was really, really there behind us to help us transition into a virtual event. And we had one in 2020 and in 2021. And in 2021, to spice it up a little, we did a magic show. And
yes, I remember that well.
we were giving Ryan ideas and talking about our magician, and Ryan was like, well, we'll try to do it this way, because, we wanted to do it a certain way with our magician, Aussie Win.
Right.
And it worked. It was amazing. We even had some Friends of Karen families as the audience, and they interacted with Aussie Win, the magician. And I think it really kept people's attention. And also part of the virtual event is in-person event, we do a campaign called Fund a Family. And in person,
right.
raising the paddles and everyone gets excited when you're sitting at your tables with your friends. But we had to do this virtually, and somehow it works. So
somehow it worked, right?
I don't know virtual galas, but whatever we did, we raised our goal for all of them.
Yeah.
And a lot of it has to do with thank you to Corporate AV and to my team and to all of our donors.
Oh, that's great. Well, you're making an impact, clearly. We have a comment from the audience here, our very own Marissa Madonia. Gwen, your optimism and your energy is infectious. There you go. The people love you, Gwen.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, but you know what? That whole, virtual, the whole pandemic, when groups like yours were having to pivot, right, and go into the all virtual gala. I always think about it. It was such a unique time. And your group in particular, Friends of Karen, was interesting because you were, one of the first to have one, and you did 3 of them. And so, we kind of joke around that there were some groups that kind of, did one, and then it was like, all right, let's hold out till next time, until we can get in person again. But, you had a format, and your team came together, and you found a way to put these together and make each one better than the next. And, so I'm curious to see, or to know, behind the scenes, what was it like, you and your team and Gabriella and Judith, and what was it like when you were first trying to come up with something? What was that process like?
We really were, or I shouldn't speak for them. I was clueless, I have to say, but one big thing that really helps, and the nonprofits that are listening, they've heard this before, but we had amazing honorees at these events. And that's what brought many people to watch the virtual event. The honorees let their friends know. We have also at our events really dedicated committee members, and they put it out there using their social media platforms and emailing their friends, and we just didn't stop. We just kept saturating everything that's social media related, and we made sure that everybody knew that Friends of Karen was going to be on having a virtual event the last couple of years, and we made sure people were there.
Absolutely. Well, and you also did something well, in my opinion, which was as far as your MCs and your hosts, I thought were always very good. And that was always one of our recommendations, to groups that were setting out to do this, is you need somebody at the helm, right? Somebody who is the face of your brand, who's the face of your organization, who can not only deliver the messaging well, but who can also be entertaining and fun to watch, right? And to give the audience something that they want to watch for. And I thought, with Pat and John Berman, who's a pro, obviously, but Pat is always very, very funny. And Aussie Win, so Gwen, I don't know if you know this, but obviously during the pandemic, we did a lot of galas and a lot of virtual productions. And so we weren't sure what to expect, with Aussie. When we were doing our testing, we weren't sure what to expect. I got to tell you, our whole team, who was, behind the scenes in our computer screens making this happen, our whole team was like, just watching, the what Aussie was doing, and we were all just, our jaws were dropped, and we laughed and we were wowed, and it was just a really fun event.
People were blown away by Aussie Wind.
They really were.
He is a true talent. And he actually had his own show off Broadway this year.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Oh, you know what? And I actually saw David Blaine had some sort of thing with him. David Blaine, I remember the street musician.
Aussie is David Blaine's favorite magician. So
wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's like, I feel like that's kind of like being like Michael Jordan's favorite basketball player.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. That's great. Well, hey, look, the pandemic was certainly an interesting, strange, weird, and sometimes fun time. And so Friends of Karen and your whole group, Gwen, you all clearly navigated it quite well. And so now, we're back and bigger than ever, right? We're back in person. And how's that process been for you all?
Good. We had our, I would say, first in-person Westchester-based gala, which wasn't in Westchester, it was in Connecticut, but we had that last June, and we had Aussie Wind in person, and it was a great event. We did the event outside, which helped bring more of our donors back to our events. And last November, we had our big New York City gala with a full house of people. And it was a wonderful event. We exceeded our fundraising goal, made a lot more new friends, and we're working on yet our 45th anniversary gala event.
That's great. 45th anniversary, a big year. Very exciting. So I know there's something going on right now that has to do with shamrocks.
Yes, shamrocks.
Do you know anything about this?
Yes.
Figured you did.
So our Shamrock campaign began way back in 1998 when the Blazer Pub in North Salem started this campaign for us. There's a wonderful barman who's been there longer than I've been at Friends of Karen named Tommy Hunt. And we worked together to think about how the Blazer could help Friends of Karen, and he said he would love to sell shamrocks. So the Tommy Hunt at the Blazer is currently selling lots and lots of shamrocks. Small, this is a small size I showed you, small, medium, and large, and they are hanging all over the Blazer. And in fact, I texted Tommy today, and he said he's got plenty more to sell. So everybody who's out there watching today, please go to the Blazer. And we also have other places in New York and Connecticut that are selling them. If I could quickly
yes,
run the names
please
off.
do.
Hair Dimension West and East in Yonkers, the Broken Bow Brewery in Tuckahoe, Captain Lawrence in both at Elmsford. There's Rob selling rocks. Rob, he's in Elmsford and in Mount Kisco. Newtown Hairport in the Bronx, Rocco's Deli and Catering in Mahopac, Mama Rosa Ristorante in Somers, Widow Brown's in Danbury, the Blazer Pub, as I said, Ridgefield Boys and Girls Club in Ridgefield, Connecticut, Salon Renee in New Milford, O'Connor's Public House in New Milford, and Farmer in the Fish in North Salem. They're actually neighbors to Friends of Karen.
Okay.
Where I work.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. I know Farmer and the Fish pretty well. And actually, Captain Lawrence is a stone's throw away from my office. So
yep.
We're all pretty, I'd like to think we're all pretty well known there. But yeah, head on over to one of those places and pick up your very own shamrock. So that's great. And then there's something else coming up, if I'm not mistaken, and that might force you, or if you were interested in that sort of thing, you might dress in certain kind of attire, maybe that looks like this.
Yep.
Or this.
Yeah.
What's this about, Gwen? Tell us about it.
So this is Friends of Karen's Journey of the Heart bike tour. We're in our 19th year.
Wow.
It's very exciting. In 2020 and 2021, we did a one-day bike tour, but now that everybody's back in person, we started having our overnight bike tour last year, and this year we are doing the same. It's on September 30th and November 1st. We start the bike ride in Kent, Connecticut, and we'll be riding up towards Millbrook. It's about a 50 to 55 mile ride on the first day on September 30th. And then on Saturday night, we stay at the Heritage Hotel in Southbury, Connecticut. And on Sunday, we ride about 31 miles from the hotel out. And the riders love it. I've been riding with the tour since 2009. And I have to say that this group, which is about 30 people, come back every year with bells on. They just can't wait to see where the next journey is going to take us. And we will be talking about that at our kickoff on May 11th in Armonk, New York, at a restaurant called Casa Tequila. So if you're interested in learning more about the Journey of the Heart bike tour, please contact me. And, at Gwen Salmo at friendsofkaren.org, or you can call me at 914-617-4051. But I think by emailing me, I'll get back to you right away and let you know more about the Journey of the Heart.
Okay, well that sounds great. So now, do you come in first every year?
No. So
do you know who does?
Level of riders. We call them our A, B, C, D riders. But I tend to stick with one of, she's actually a Friends of Karen mom that we helped quite a while ago. And I'm sure you met the family at that we did at Brayburn.
Yeah. Yep.
Years ago. And I tend to stick with Teresa. Her and I were like little twins, and I ride with her. I actually helped train her for the ride along with another rider who stuck by her side for the first ride that she did 8 years ago. And she keeps coming back.
All right. Well, that's great. Now, Gwen, would you consider yourself like a B or a C? Where do you rank in the? And I'm just trying to get a sense of what kind of rider you are.
A C plus.
A C plus. Well, that's okay, because I'd be somewhere around a G. I don't know if you go that far.
No.
But I'd be pretty low. I might need you to train me to try and get my numbers up a little bit.
Yeah. No,
well, that's great.
It's a really fun. It's like a very warm family that comes together and does this all to help the Friends of Karen families.
Absolutely. Well, it sounds like a fun event, and in the name of a great cause, right?
Yes, it's a wonderful event.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, Gwen, do you have anything else that you want to share with the audience today? Any other any points to leave them with? Any takeaways? What do you think?
Yes, I would. I just want to thank you again for giving me this opportunity, Ryan, to
of course.
talk about a cause that means so much to me. It really does. And I want to leave you with a quote from a Friends of Karen dad named Julio. And we helped his daughter named Camilla, and she had leukemia. She had lymphoblastic leukemia in 2018. And he said, in quotes, "Friends of Karen didn't just help with our bills. They helped Camilla through her treatment to deal with pain and sadness. They sent our kids school supplies and birthday and Christmas gifts. They were there for us all the time, responding to our needs, and it was like they were part of our family."
Wow.
Thank you all for tuning in to hear about all the work that Friends of Karen does to help so many local families who really need our help while they're going through such a tough time. And thank you so much, Ryan. I really appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. Gwen,
Thank you asked me to be on your show today.
absolutely. Well, that was a great quote, a great way to leave us, and I'm glad you came on. Thank you for sharing your time with us and or with me today. But for those watching and for those who will watch the recording later, we appreciate you. Of course, we appreciate Friends of Karen. So thanks very much for all the work that you all do. And of course, if anyone would like to get involved, you can head over to friendsofkaren.org. Or if you would like to take part in the bike tour, you can reach out to Gwen at Gwen Salmo at friendsofkaren.org. So Gwen, I think that's it. I think we're all set. I told you, look, you'd be perfect and you'd be in and out, right?
Yep. Good job. I'm on to another meeting at 2:00.
Oh yeah, the day doesn't end, does it?
No.
Oh, very good. All right, Gwen. Well, until next time, until we speak again, thank you again, and take care.
Thanks. Take
All
care.
Right. Bye
Have
now.
a good your day. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. Well, that was a great conversation. I've worked with Gwen for many years. She's very passionate about the work she does, and it's easy to understand why. It's it's important cause, and they do a lot of great work. So definitely head over to friendsofkaren.org. Send Gwen a note if you're interested in the bike tour or whatever else. Support in any way that you can, or pick up a Shamrock. Go to the bar and buy a Shamrock. I know they have those sites listed on the website, so that you'd be helping a cause, and you do so in a great environment at the same time. So I think that is it, Mr. Gilderson. If you're watching somewhere in La Playa, I hope I've done you well today. I hope I've done you proud, but I don't expect you're actually watching this, so maybe you'll see the recording later and have a laugh. I have one other thing to add. My former co-host, Alexa Frost, amazing, great host. Wow, that's the first nice thing she's ever said about me. Can you get a shout out? Absolutely not. That's all, folks. Oh, wait, hold on. I have to go over my lines again. We can find us on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube Live. You can find us every Wednesday at 1 p.m. And be like Marissa and Alexa and drop us a comment. Be part of the show. You can also like, comment, share, subscribe, all the above. It is super appreciated. Don't feel free rather to do so on the recordings. We will see them. And of course, if you missed a show, check out YouTube for our full video discography and little bite-sized pieces on Instagram and Facebook. So I think that is it. I think I have a new sign-off, a new catchphrase. Maybe we'll modify it this time. So until next time, folks, that's all. Sayonara, auf Wiedersehen, adios. That's all I got. Until next time, take care.